Hi, this is Marty Wilde, and you're listening to my latest record, Let's Rock This Place, and you're listening to Let's Rock On.
Some weekends you get feeling low, you're all dressed up but nowhere to go. So what do we do? Well, I got a plan. Now let's get out of here, 'cause any doubts I had are simply gone. We're gonna dance tonight, it's no use hanging around or hanging on. Three young singers get ready for the show. The compere walks on the stage and he says, "Start it up, cats." Now the bass kicks in and the place is buzzing. 'Cause things are starting now. This dance is just what I've been dreaming on. It's where I wanna be. This is where I know that we belong. Yeah, we belong. Come on, let's go tonight. When you're feeling great, celebrate it. Oh, we're rock this place tonight. Baby, hold on tight. When you feel like this, elevate it. Oh, we're rock this place tonight. Somebody shouts out, when do we stop? But nobody stops and nobody cares. 'Cause things are starting now. This place is just what I've been dreaming on. It's where I wanna be, 'cause this is where I know that we belong. Yeah, we belong. Come on, let's go tonight. When you're feeling great, celebrate it. Oh, rock this place tonight. Baby, hold on tight. When you feel like this, elevate it. Oh, rock this place tonight. Take it. Come on, let's go tonight. 'Cause when you're feeling great, celebrate it. Oh, rock this place tonight. Baby, hold on tight. When you feel like this, it's crazy, ain't it? Oh, come on, let's face it. Oh, you can't replace it. Oh, we're gonna rock this place tonight.
We're wild about Marty, and let me tell you, he's UK rock and roll royalty, and it's such a pleasure to have you on the show, Marty, and we mean that sincerely. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for your time today, Marty. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Now,
well,
Sabine's
my
got a few
pleasure.
things she wants to show you. Go for it, Sabine.
Okay. So, Marty, this is
Okay.
my latest thing that I've found. Now, you're going to love this. It's a 78, and it's a double A side. And it's
Oh
got
my God, what was on the
Marty
other
Wilde and the
side?
Wildcats. Yeah. Sing Boy Sing. And Oh, Oh, I'm Falling in Love Again. You remember that?
Oh God. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
1958. There you go. And then I'm a Tiger, which you signed for me at St. Albans for Talking Pictures. Remember you signed that for me?
All right, yeah.
Lulu's Tune. And then I've got, this is on my jukebox. I'm just going on my jukebox. Sea of Love and Teenage
I'll see of
Years.
love. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got, because I'm a big Quo fan, and I know Bob Young very well, I've got the songbook and the song that you did with Ronnie Scott.
What song
That was Ice in the
Ronnie
Sun.
Scott?
Ice in the Sun, yeah.
Oh, Ice in the Sun. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How did
Yeah,
that
that was
collaboration come
yeah.
about?
Well, I mean, it was basically Ronnie's idea. We were because he had a connection to Status Quo, and he'd met them before, and I think so. We had sort of an in with them in a way, and we knew that they were looking for material, and Ron said, "Well, I've got a title." He said, "It's called Ice in the Sun," and the idea is, this girl melts away. This guy sort of melts away when he sees this girl. So that's how it kicked off. And I remember we did the demo, and it turned out okay. It was one typical demo, sounded like me doing harmonies and God knows what else. And then then he gave it to Rossi and to Status Quo. And then I never heard the record. I was abroad, and I went abroad somewhere, and somebody said, "Oh, have you heard your one of your new songs?" So I said, "No." And when I heard it, I thought, "Oh my God, what has he done with it?" But it took me about two plays to realize that he's transformed it, because the way we'd done it was a bit twee, the way I sung it, but I think they did a great job on it. So yeah, I was pleased it was a hit. It sounded like a hit all the way. You just know. You just know with a
don't
hit.
you?
You can't always.
You just know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I'm a Tiger by Lulu. That was a huge radio hit here in Australia. And I just want to tell you how much people love you here in Australia, and also your daughter, Kim. And I just want to say your family are just like, how can I say, you're worked in the business. Your daughter's come up. She's huge, international star. I mean, how proud are you as a dad when you look back from the early years of 57, let's say, to 2026? How does it feel everything's come full circle?
It's a lovely feeling. It's great that it's happened this way. But for us, it was always like a job. It was like we've always considered. I think the family do. It's just a job. It's no different to. We're almost like musical communists because we believe in equality with people. In other words, if somebody comes, a lady this morning delivered my groceries, and she does a great job, and she came and delivered the things, and if she's doing a great job, which she does, I consider her equal to me. So in other words, we're on the same level. I don't figure I'm the big pop star and she's. That's the way I view people. I either like them or I don't, and this lady is just a sweet lady, and I mean, with everybody, that I'm not fazed by anybody. I'm not fazed by a few. The only person I was ever fazed by was our Queen, and when I met her, it'd been a lifetime. I'd waved my little British flag when she drove past with Philip when they first got married, and I told her that. I said I waved my flag, so I was gobsmacked with her. I got to say, because she was kind of.
You got the MBE, didn't you, Marty? You got the MBE.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
2017,
much
I think
to my, it was, much to my surprise. But she was such an outstanding person, and I mean, I'd been licking stamps since I was a kid, and every time I licked a stamp, she was there. So she was on all the coins. She was on every coin. Her face was everywhere. So and we were always brought up to respect the royalty, which is a little bit different at times when you get the odd ones that go a bit quirky. But by and large, I am very much a royalist. I believe in what they do. I think it's important to have a royalist.
I've got to take you back now, right, to when you started in the rock and roll business. And let me tell you, the show Oh Boy, and Cliff Richard was on it. And it must have been such a fascinating time. And I've got to say something. Watching the clips of you and Cliff singing even together, and you're a little bit taller, and you're just like this rock and roller, right, for the UK. And it's like unbelievable, these clips now when you watch them in 2026. And it started from there. I mean, what was the scene really like? You all got on, you all wanted to do something in music. It must have been just such a fantastic, honest, pure rock and roll time, emulating what's happening in the US. Is that right?
Yeah, without doubt. It was one of the greatest times in my life. It was just a very, once I made it and I started to get, particularly, it took a little time before I had my first hit record, but I had Endless Sleep had gone in the charts, which, was my very first hit. And then a little bit later, I did a pilot for the Oh Boy, and it passed its test, obviously, with the TV people, ITV or someone like that who took it, or ATV. And, then it came out. Yes, it was. To be in that show was an absolute, was a dream and a privilege, because we were, for the first time, able to meet so many American stars, big stars, that were coming over to appear on that show. And particularly later, when I did the Boy Meets Girl shows up in Manchester, there were so many Americans I worked with. And it was to work with them was a privilege, because we were learning from them. We had to learn. We weren't born in Beale Street. We weren't listening to the blues and all that, just round the corner. We were listening to Billy Cotton Band show. So to transform ourselves into doing something which we adored, but we couldn't quite get it right at the beginning, but we did eventually. We did. And people like, Cliff was one of the pioneers, and Billy and all those good guys. We started to make some sense of it. It took us time. It did take us time, but that's natural. We weren't in America, and we were trying to learn, and because rock and roll was such a fascinating thing to be part of. And the Oh Boy show was, for me, one of the best, the most innovative and best TV shows, because, damn it, it was live. It was live.
Yeah.
It wasn't like in America. Some years later, I did the Dick Clark show, and to promote Bad Boy. And I went up. I can remember going up in this lift, and as I walked out of the lift, because we were running very late, and this American voice was saying, "And here he is." Just as I got out of the lift. So I walked out into this studio with a load of people, boys and girls, and I sang the song. And I didn't. I mimed. That's right. I mimed. And that's what bugged me. I thought that they were, I understood what I had to do. I had to mime. But I looked back at it and I thought, well, it's better for someone to sing live, not miming all the time. You get nowhere with it. You get nowhere. You don't get to know the person. You're never gonna. And so, being part of the Oh Boy show, it walked all over the Dick Clark show. It was miles better. And the British, a modest bunch. We're a modest bunch. We sort of like, we're too damn modest.
We are. You're right.
We've changed the face of music so many times. And we have brought out such wonderful, from classical times to great composers, to some great rock and roll bands, and eventually, as I say, it took time. It took time for bands like the Stones, like the Who, and bands like that, and the Beatles. They had to learn what we couldn't learn at first. Does that make sense? We were desperately trying to. How does this thing work? And then Elvis Presley showed you a lot of it, what to do, what to wear, and what style of singing. He was the man that appealed to me. But it just took time.
Each time we have a quarrel, it almost breaks my heart, 'cause I am so afraid that we will have to part. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? One day I feel so happy, next day I feel so sad. I guess I learned to take the good with the bad. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? cried a tear for nobody but you. I'll be a lonely one if you should say we're through. Now if you wanna make me cry, that won't be so hard to do. And if you should say goodbye, I'll still go on loving you. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? I cried a tear for nobody but you. I'll be a lonely one if you should say we're through. Now if you wanna make me cry, that won't be so hard to do. And if you should say goodbye, I'll still go on loving you. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? Why must I be a teenager in love? In love.
Now, you got a link with the Beatles, of course, through Larry Parnes, right? Your manager. And, of course, Larry Parnes in 1960, he auditioned the Beatles to go and tour with Billy Fury in the UK and Scotland tour. And I just want to know, because you're on the inside with Larry Parnes, did Larry Parnes tell you when the Beatles first started as the Silver Beatles, he said, I auditioned a group called the Silver Beatles? Like, when did you first learn about the Beatles, whether they were called the Silver Beatles? When did this all happen?
I was working Liverpool quite consistently, and one particular year I was at the Liverpool Empire, and I think to my memory, if my memory was right, I went there 3 times in the year, which was most unusual. And the first year I started to play, a guy came backstage, and he said, "Have you heard of our group called the Silver Beatles?" And I said, "What? What are they called?" He said, "The I think he just said the Beatles." I said, "Well, that's a strange name." I said, and I thought, "Oh my God, I had visions of a really strange group." So, but it registered with me. He went on about it. The next time that I went to Liverpool Empire, he was there again. He came backstage. He said, "Marty," he said, "you've got to listen to the Beatles." He said, "They're fantastic." He said, "They're down at the Cavern." He said, "And they go in a storm." He said, and then the third time I heard, he said it again. So I had this build up that there was something happening in Liverpool that I hadn't heard. Anyway, then around about 6 months or maybe 7 or 8 months later, I was working in Chester, up in Chester, and I worked at this dance hall, and I'd gone down really well. And these young kids came back afterwards, and they said, "We enjoyed the show. Have you heard about the Beatles? Have you seen them?" So, and I said, "Well, funny you say that." I said, "Because the people have been banging on about them from Liverpool ever since, every time I go up there." So then they said, "Well, they are sensational." So when Love Me Do came out, I knew before anyone else, really, in the South. In the Liverpool, they would have known, but I knew they were going to be a success. I just knew it. And when Love Me Do, I only heard it once, and I thought, yeah, that's it. They're gonna. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. And so I was very fortunate, really, and I've remained a colossal fan, like we all have, So I didn't feel that they put me out of place as a rock and roll singer, because they loved rock and roll and they loved R&B, which I did too. So they're phenomenal, just a phenomenal. Yeah. But with Larry, he made the mistake of not booking him. But there again, Decca turned the Beatles down as well. Yeah. So other people were turning them down, and it took George Martin, and EMI to realise what they had. Yeah. They had something special. I met them in Blackpool, and I made the great mistake of talking to John Lennon, because I said, "I love your voice" on whatever track it was, and I didn't know, and he said it wasn't me, and it didn't go down too well. No. But I mean, they were a good bunch of guys. They were good, and I met Paul much later, many years later, or few years later, when he was with Carl Carl Perkins, and
right.
he was in this country, and we were talking about old times, you know, and he'd seen me at Liverpool Empire. He told me exactly a gag I used to pull on the stage, because I used to say at Liverpool Empire, I say, "Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the president?" And bless them, they in those days things weren't quite the same. They would all stand up, and I say, "Ladies and gentlemen, the president." And then I'd say, "Of United Dairies," and of course then they'd all sit down and be laughing. And McCartney remembered that. Paul said, "I remember that." So he'd actually seen the show. So
Yeah.
there is a little link there. But you know, I've always been a colossal fan.
So when Larry changed your name, where did he get the idea for Marty, and where did you get the idea for Wildcats?
Larry said we'll toss a coin, and unusually for me, I'm normally lucky with coins. I had other names that I wanted, but he wanted Marty and he wanted Wilde. So he tossed these coins, and each time he won. So then the Wildcats, I suppose it was a natural thing to follow, because cats was an expression that was used in rock and roll, you know, hi cats and all that, you know. So it took me a long while. I thought, this is a stupid name, and I told my parents, and my father looked at me. God knows what my dad thought at the time. Mum took it on the chin, and I said, "You've got to start calling me Marty from now on." So she did, because my real name was Reg. So it was a bit of a shock, but they managed to to put up with it. But it took me about a month to get used to it, because I didn't like the word Marty. And so one day I was driving past near the Elephant and Castle in London, and I saw a bill, and my name was on it. And I thought, oh, that does look all right. That does look good. So it looked better than Reg Smith, which is my real name. It wouldn't have gone. It's like Elton John was Reg Dwight, wasn't he?
Yeah. And Cliffy was Harry
Dwight,
Webb.
He changed his.
Yeah. Cliffy was Harry Webb.
Yeah, and I was Reg Smith.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marty, we have a new #1 in the Heritage chart. So let's rock this place. And I have to say, your guitarist, Darryl, he's wonderful. He's fabulous. I love him.
Yeah.
Because when you came to Kingston College, that was a great set, and it was a great event because it was up close and personal. So I was going to ask you with that, are you doing any more of those? Are you planning any more to promote the album, or just to do an in conversation event?
Well, we will eventually. There's no doubt. I'm approaching it cautiously, because I've got a group. I've had a band with me for the last 36 years, and they've been with me such a long time. So I can't just drop a band that I've had all that time. So, and I love Darryl to bits, and the boys. They've been absolutely wonderful, and wonderful for the album. And to work with Darryl was an absolute pleasure. And it shows on the album as well. You know, we just get along like two brothers. It's fantastic. And so obviously we are going to work. We will definitely work together and do some shows together. It would just take a little bit of time, because it's very different from the kind of show I would do with Darryl. Would be a very different show as I do with the Wildcats. The Wildcats is a. This
is the one I went to the Epsom Playhouse. Remember the Epsom Playhouse?
Yeah.
You did that one?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And Blackheath. And I think there
was. Oh yeah, that was one of my favourite gigs.
Yeah, that was excellent. And the other one was Bexley Heath. I think it was Bexley Heath, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Bexley Heath. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I love your shows, and they're so joyful. We're all up dancing and singing, and what joy!
Oh, yeah.
What absolute joy, Marty. So thank you, because it really is. It's so joyful, and keep on rock and rolling. You know, because we love you.
Oh, thank you. I was talking to Kim the other day. She's going to Australia this year. No, next year, pretty soon. It's coming up. Yeah. I think it's got to be this year, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I've seen Australia. Yeah. She loves it there. So.
Yeah.
there. Oh, yeah.
Right. She came to Kingston for Banquet Records and she did an in-store
Oh,
signing.
yeah.
Yeah. So I got to meet
Ah,
Kim, and she's
oh, good,
fabulous.
good.
Yeah. So looking forward to Kim's tour as well. It's all happening in the Wild family. I tell you, it's just like, and Ricky, and and Rose. So Rose is
Yeah.
your granddaughter, and she sings
Yes,
backing
yes, yeah.
vocals. Yeah, in the new
Yeah, she
singles.
did. Yeah.
I just want to ask you what it was like writing with the kids in America, yourself, and it was your son as well helped you write the song. Tell me about that experience and what it was like, such a great worldwide hit.
Mm.
Well, it started off in the house I'm in now. Rick had this melody line on this little computer. He had a mini computer, and he hummed out this melody to me, and the idea behind it. And I said, "Yeah, sounds great." I said, "That sounds." It didn't. I didn't. I just said, "Yeah, okay. Well, it sounds good. We'll do it." Didn't think, but I thought it was good enough to obviously to write a lyric to. And I said, "I'm going to call it." I said, "I heard it," and I thought it went da 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 da. And I said, "Tell you what, I'm going to call that Kids in America." So he said, "Why?" I said, "Well, I've just seen a program, or I saw a program a few days ago. I said about these kids in America. I said, and they frightened me to death. I said, their attitude was incredible. I mean, they're all grown up now and probably got grandchildren and everything. But at the time, they frightened me. And so I thought, right, I'll write a song, all right. I'm going to write, and as we were going to, it was going to be for Kim, because Mickey Most had asked us to write a song, and it was going to be for Kim. So I had to write it, obviously, from a girl's point of view. And I thought, I'm going to make this girl in this song tough, not the usual subservient woman in the world, but quite the reverse. Quite a girl who was telling him, this is what I'm doing. Don't check on your damn watch. You just. And she was giving the orders, in other words.
Yeah.
Which is really funny enough. We were watching yesterday. I went to Ricky's grandchild and my great grandchild's party, and so we were the birthday party. She's 3, so we got there and we were talking and saying how the women of children rather have changed completely in the past. You think of children in the 40s and the 50s, they were much quieter children in many areas. But now, then, the girls are they're not free in every department. They still are put down by some men, but by God, they've made some incredible advances in the last 10, 20, 30 years. And women are, beginning to get their power, which they should do. It should be an equal situation, because they both, I think the female perspective to view something from a female's point of view is just as important as viewing it from a man's, because the two combined are incredible. They're a great power together. Men and women were always meant to be together like that, equal.
I love that.
That'll get me a lot of female fans.
Looking out a dirty old window, down below the cars in the city go rushing by. I sit here alone and I wonder why. Friday night and everyone's moving. I can feel the heat, but it's soothing, heading down. I search for the beat in this dirty town. Downtown, the young ones are going. Downtown, the young ones
going back to the early years and everything, I know I touched on the films, and you said to me at the time that you didn't really enjoy doing the films.
No, I didn't.
Was that because there was a bit of a lull with on the music front, or how did all that kind of sort of work or not work?
Well, it's a bit like Elvis in a way. Mind you, Elvis wanted to go into films desperately. I didn't. I didn't want to go into films, not particularly. It didn't worry me. I'd do it, but I knew I wasn't going to be. I wasn't going to be an actor. I mean, if you want to see a good actor, go and watch Laurence Olivier or Brad Pitt or someone. Don't watch me. I'm not an actor. And I thought, well, I'd seen other stars do it, and for me, I'm sorry, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. There's something empty about it. For all of them, and including some of the Elvis films, I think are when you see him singing, that's brilliant. But when you actually watch or listen to some of the conversations in the script in the film, they're not quite right, and it doesn't sound right. With Elvis saying, "Honey, it's the beast in me." Elvis wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say that. Come on, and it just doesn't work for me. I can't. I can watch them all singing. I think that goes for all of them. If I have to sing in a song, which I didn't, funny enough, but when all the stars who are in singing films or musical films sing, I can put up. I think it's great. I love that. But the acting side, no, I can't watch it. It bores me.
What do you think about Cliffy's films then? Summer Holiday, and did you enjoy them?
I did. I mean, as so much as the music, the music. Well, our films were a bit more realistic than the Americans. I think the Americans sort of they're just a little bit too far exaggerated in a way. And as I say, I mean, again, none of those films, whoever they are, moved me a great deal. Other than I was fascinated by Cliff because I thought Summer Holiday was a good film, and I thought lots of the things that were in that film were great. Don't get me wrong, and I would never knock Cliff like that. And I would have done, if I was Cliff, I would have done exactly the same thing. But I'm just saying, on reflection now. I had no visions of being an actor at all. I didn't. I thought, well, I can say the words, but there are so many good actors who are out of work. They're going to look at me and think, well, what's that twit doing on films? So I don't have any illusions that way.
I've got to ask you about the James Bond films when they came out in the early 60s, right? And the 60s period of the James Bond films. Did you really like that? And did you go to any premieres of that movie? Or what did you think of the James Bond?
I thought the James Bond films were excellent in many ways. I have all the books, all the James Bond original novels. I have those in a set. So I'm a big I am. I'm a big fan. I thought, but it ended with Sean Connery. Sean Connery was the only one that I liked as James Bond. The others didn't work. I'm sorry. They might have made money.
Roger. No, Roger. I like Roger Moore.
No.
In London, right? Tell me about the coffee shop, the Two Eyes. What sort of a musical meeting place was that for the young people? Describe that to everybody who doesn't know.
It was a coffee bar in Soho that Tommy Steele made. He gave it a name because he became a rock and roll the first big rock and roll star in Great Britain, and he had worked there, or he'd gone there and played there, so he gave the place a big name. I went there to rehearse, not to work, and I went there. I think I didn't go there for a cup of coffee, and I didn't go there because it was a bit later. But it was a very, very popular coffee house, basically because of Tommy and Tommy's name. But for me, it didn't have the allure that it didn't mean. It was great. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't that big thing in my life. I only rehearsed there anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Marty, have you ever come to Australia?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. I was. Yeah, I did some shows over there. Yeah, I did. Yeah, way back when Kim and Ricky were about 10 and 11, they came with me to Australia. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was great. I loved it. I did love it.
What year was that?
Yeah, it's 40 years ago. I would have thought.
Oh.
Yeah, about 40 years ago. So
Yeah.
whatever time that was. I can't even do my mathematics now.
Now, I just want to say, Marty Wilde, as I said, you are royalty, rock and roll royalty, and we love you. And your song, right, is fantastic. We want everyone to go out and buy it, right? Let's Rock This Place, a fantastic song, #1 in the Heritage charts. Congratulations. And from Plastic EP and Sabine, rock on.
Rock on.